The Coinsaurus channel is pleased to have you back. Just wanted to give you a heads up that a lot of people think XRP is about to have its big breakout and start going up in value right now. Bitcoin has risen to $52,319 at the time of writing, and there has been a slight breakout in the markets. We will now have to wait and see what happens now that XRP has broken above 54 cents, a significant resistance level, after earlier today flirting with the $52,000 barrier. Having said that, the subject of stories that can strangle if believed and swallowed whole is what I truly want to address in this video, as I had promised in my last video. That being said, a popular belief is that Bitcoin ETFs will hold the secret to gaining control of the kingdom. People who own XRP could also lose everything if that happens. I thought you were aware of it, right? I will explain why it is necessary to disclose it up front. Next, we'll go into the specifics. This is due to the fact that narratives, in this case Bitcoin ETFs, have the potential to mislead investors into believing that the value of Bitcoin would increase at a more rapid rate than it actually will. Because of this, many may assume that the value of XRP will increase dramatically, even if this is not necessarily the case. Since my name is Mr. XRP, Bull, this in no way implies that I am unable to achieve great heights. I am expecting a lot. I am of the belief that XRP will achieve new heights and explore new enterprise opportunities for as long as Bitcoin does. Proceed with care, nevertheless, in this domain. I feel like there are some misconceptions regarding what this involves, and I also have some more thoughts regarding this subject. But certainly, as it relates to XRP, I guess it's worth repeating, I've never been more optimistic about the future of XRP than I am right now, and there are many reasons for that. I want to be clear that I am not a financial advisor and that I do not have any background in this area. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks now. In addition, you may not utilize any of my words or writings to induce a transaction in any way. I enjoy making videos on YouTube about cryptocurrency as a hobby and for pleasure. I'm merely a fan. You know, the blockchain technology advocate stated today. So as not to paraphrase him, but basically, XRP is about to crash right now. After that, he gets into the meat and potatoes of his justifications for these beliefs. To be clear, he is not suggesting that it will happen immediately, but from a historical perspective, this seems like a reasonable time to assume that it will go in. On the other hand, the chart structure suggests that the moment is right now. He has also been sounding the alarm, as you may have seen if you have been following his progress. Even on this issue, he is considered to be on the fringes. It doesn't prove, though, that he's wrong. I just want to make it clear that he isn't the only one who thinks this way. But he has been in the minority before, and his opinions were entirely valid. Many in the majority looked foolish, especially when they insulted him for no apparent reason. Thank you, Bitcoiners, but I'm really concerned about the situation. Just a few hours ago, he made this statement. Despite widespread pessimism, I maintained a positive outlook in 2022 and 2023. We are relatively close to the 702 now. I am fully behind you. However, you should always be cognizant of your whereabouts. That seems just reasonable to me. Thank you so much for it. That being said, allow me to present my perspective. I find great value in listening to opposing viewpoints presented by insightful, intellectual people. Surely that would be useful in the actual world. Because it's impossible for any one of us to be an authority in every subject. When trying to come to reasonable conclusions on our own, it's best to listen to credible sources with plenty of experience in the field, gather their perspectives, and then use our best judgment to determine what we think is reasonable. After all, none of us has the time or expertise to become an expert in everything. For my part, I'll admit that I'm completely confused. The only thing I'm getting across is that it's the right way to approach decision-making in general. There will be instances when you feel compelled to do so. The way things are going for me at the moment, these types of things do occur occasionally. I must admit that I am unsure. Hopeful nonetheless. Definitely not. Despite my appreciation for many viewpoints, I believe it would be prudent for everyone to remain calm and observe the unfolding events. For that reason, I always include a variety of counterarguments on my channel. I'm not trying to direct the plot. The goal of my approach is to strike up a discussion. To me, that's the best approach to any problem, to talk about it and give other people their 2 cents. I anticipate that some of you will hold the view that legit crypto is right when it says no, while others will hold the view that blockchain proponents are more right. I responded to the blockchain at the time I initially said it because reasonable people appreciate hearing your honest perspective. You have been correct, while going against the grain on more than one occasion. Nobody should ever make the blunder of ignoring your thoughts and feelings. But having said that, I really hope you're wrong. Still, you've made it clear time and again that you'd be happy to be proven wrong. If he's mistaken, it would work out well for him, so he said so. All he is doing is voicing his opinion on what he thinks is right. No, that's right. Civil conversation allows people to express themselves honestly without using name-calling, which is why I value it. On the other hand, I dislike it when people behave in an intellectually dishonest way. In cases of disrespectful behavior, my emotions do not coincide with yours. You're acting like a brat right now, you're wrong. To the extent that I abhor those kinds of people, it would rank up there with the worst possible outcomes for my life. It doesn't help us find the truth, in my opinion. That is why it irritates me. Sure, I'll carry on. Please examine this. Numerous costs are involved. I'm merely setting the stage for when we actually get into the meat of the matter. Give me a chance to convince you. I promise it will be worth it. This morning, Bitcoin maximalist Anthony Pompliano released the following. Net inflows of $631 million were recorded by the spot Bitcoin ETFs yesterday, representing 14 times the demand that the network generated on that day. I don't think anyone is noticing how big of a deal this is right now. We did offer some accurate information, but please exercise caution when relating stories. Watching the video will explain why. In any case, it's still breathtaking to behold. The following will be revealed first thing in the morning by Clementi, a chain analyzer. Nearly 70% of Bitcoin's supply has been stable for at least a year, even if ETFs are getting $500 million in inflows on that day. A doctorate in economics is not required to predict future events. I will now depart from you. The exchange-traded funds value is soaring. Holy cow, that's not right. The result is known to you. This story is being pushed by a number of folks, so I'll go into greater detail setting it up for you, Dewey. On top of that, I think it can fool people. People expect all of their coins, including Bitcoin XRP, Ethereum, and Picker coin, to go significantly higher than they would have otherwise due to the fact that everything is happening, will continue to happen, and could never be different. It is not genuine. Allow me a moment, please. Coming up next is Alex Kruger, a self-styled economist and highly respected expert who has amassed 164,000 next followers. The $4 billion inflows into Bitcoin ETFs are a testament to their phenomenal success, as you pointed out. So far, I believe it's reasonable to state that these Bitcoin ETFs have achieved remarkable performance. I wanted to inform you that there are some false rumors going around regarding them. That's it. My remarks have come to a close. In my view, there will be far-reaching ramifications to investing in Bitcoin ETFs in the long term. Nevertheless, this is not the only factor to consider. Of course, it's vital. This huddle, which is fantastic, was also blogged about by 15 Capital. In all honesty, I'm impressed. New spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds purchased 228,400 Bitcoin, worth $11.3 billion, in just 22 days. This is even more astonishing and frightening because it accounts for over 1% of total Bitcoin, as pointed out by Bitwise Chief Information Officer, Matt Hewen. Bitcoin exchange-traded funds do, in fact, possess 1% of the entire Bitcoin after around a month. I hope that was clear. Wow, that's crazy, you could exclaim upon first observation. The Bitcoin market's trajectory is chaotic and uncertain. But $1 billion, because by tomorrow it would definitely be in. Go at your own pace. Because it might inflict tremendous damage if left unchecked, we must dismantle it. After reading this post by TXMC, I have to say that this guy is absolutely brilliant. I am drawn to his perspective. He goes against the grain. It seems like he agrees with the blockchain proponent on the whole. I won't claim to share all of his opinions, but I do believe they have some common ground on that front. However, he doesn't only talk about crypto, though he does that too, but instead gives his opinions on the overall picture. He used to work at Glassnode, an on-chain analytics firm. I also think highly of Glassnode. Now that I get his point of view, I found it intriguing that he included credible crypto chart analysts, almost like credible cryptists, in his projections. I am referring to this type of civil discourse. Crypto believers claim that 2018 marked the start of a new cycle. It hasn't topped off in any way, so what you have there is basically an extended cycle. Meanwhile, he thinks we're about to see new record highs, though not everyone is as bullish. However, TXMC said the following after coming across posts from trustworthy crypto sources, which I will look into. Personally, I think it's more likely that a different pricing outcome will occur. You can kind of see how asterisks could go around that, but no one is really sure. Prepare a plan for every possible cryptocurrency, and prioritize the issues. When I first laid eyes on it, my reaction was, oh, well. Views held by reliable cryptocurrency specialists. I have to admit, his breakdown is quite useful. He goes into incredible detail on cryptosystems, which no one else on this webinar has touched on. Importantly, he was really publishing a condensed version of an article from TSMC, in which the company said that ETFs buy 500 million shares every day and that they are pessimistic about a new cycle. Since it is identical to what other people are saying, he placed it in quotations, as I mentioned before. His next point is that Bitcoin and the markets peaked in late 2021 while the Fed was still buying over $100 billion in QE, quantitative easing, funds per month, and interest rates were zero. Storytelling has its limits. Your argument appears to have been well stated. I see your point. A trustworthy cryptocurrency exchange so shared that. His written work looks like this. For what it's worth, I think you're all going to find this incredibly interesting and beneficial. You can avoid damaging your own financial condition by giving this some serious thought, in my opinion. For that reason, these are his actual words. I think the tweet below deserves your careful study, despite my belief that we are presently hurtling toward new all-time highs. Sooner or later, we will have entered a new paradigm, making major crashes and corrections less likely. Another change is that TradFi is making a substantial investment in the ETFs this time. There is a steep decline for every steep ascent, according to our reliable financial advisors, and vice versa. In order to feel the height of ecstasy and the resulting insatiable greed and skyrocketing prices, there must be a counter-reaction. This is coming from someone who had been pushing for such a dramatic increase before the ETF approval, which is surprising given that the majority of people here thought it was actually possible to reach a new high before the halving. Thus, I will temporarily halt the note's execution. His prediction falls somewhere inside that range, even if he isn't saying it's when Bitcoin will achieve its all-time high. According to him, that's quite plausible. I anticipate the Bitcoin having to occur in April, maybe around April 20th, though I am not sure of the exact date. Dude, it would be so easy. I take it you're saying that new Bitcoin will be released every day for the next 2 months. That is really ridiculous. I can't tell you how excited I will be if we are able to see it. As a result, I will have more faith in XRP's, and other coins' ability to achieve unparalleled levels of success. That one really appeals to me. Let me say it plainly, I have a plan. Yes, this is my senior position. Since 2006, I have called this place my home. My heart will leap for joy if Bitcoin reaches that level. Simply put, it seems to be on the verge of being an absolute requirement if it isn't already one. But reliable cryptocurrency is still around. In the same vein, I'm here to advise you that these ETFs, their influence on the demand side of this equation is substantial. It isn't the only thing in this asset class, and it won't prevent a major crisis or slump either. Thinking forward. Do not make a purchase at this time if the price increases significantly. Just wait a second, I'll explain why. I wanted to be very explicit about this because, among other things, you are being fed a lot of people's false narratives. Maybe they believe some of these people perform it in reality. Another actual phenomena is an echo chamber. I just want to clarify that it won't be enough to generate a spike just because they're posting fantastic results. What he says here isn't the only thing that reputable crypto continues to do. It is worth noting that TradFi ETFs have just injected funds, but I feel obligated to add, the fact that these companies are still in it for the money doesn't change the fact that the funds are more difficult to remove than prior capital injections. You can expect that there will be a lot of profit-taking when TradFi sees an unprecedented return on investment of 3 to 4 times in 6 to 12 months. This might impact the balance of supply and demand. And that is all there is to it. I wanted you to be ready for the 6 months or so when Bitcoin values go over $100,000. There was this POS message between us, unless you're really ignorant. We are both familiar with the concept of significant cryptocurrency movements. It might not be a big issue to trade 3 or 4 times throughout the afternoon, depending on the currency. This is particularly true for less liquid currencies with smaller market caps, which are easier to trade. That happens all the time, you know. We become desensitized since it occurs so frequently, don't you think? Cryptocurrency has the potential to make those in traditional finance very wealthy, but they may be reluctant to invest in it at first. But if word gets out about the big cards, they'll be ecstatic, maybe even ready to risk it all for a profit. That is a reasonable assertion, in my view. Everything else will fade into oblivion. But what exactly would that accomplish to captivate readers of this tale, especially Bitcoin maxis? That is, any ETF that holds Bitcoin as an investment. Not even ETF purchases can keep going up in a straight line forever when that happens. What I mean is that. Next, he says, with that being said, enjoy the ride that we are on now, referring to reliable cryptocurrency. In the upcoming months, maintain a level head and focus on the numbers. That is totally true, and I couldn't agree with you more. Yes, that is very important. The moment you start to believe it and think, oh my God, it's going to go higher, there's no coming back. How does that impact you personally? For the simple reason that being aware of these market moves happening at the same time can hurt you in every way imaginable, not just with your bid cards. You know, it could seriously muck things up everywhere. The tales are not true. Proceed with caution and according to your best judgment. My remarks have come to a close. But I still think we can be, and I'm ecstatic. It has been just wonderful for me. The bomb going off. A rise in wealth? I am satisfied, yes. I enjoyed it very much. It couldn't be timed better. Hence, I strongly suggest that you be careful. Nevertheless, XRP seems to be in an advantageous position to start climbing. Yeah, that's right. The fact that something occurred yesterday is no guarantee that it will occur again this week. Things are about to take a turn for the worse now that we've hit the tipping point. I'm going to hold on to my positive attitude and hope for the best. I am confident. Very cautious, yet hopeful in the end. Nobody knows what's going to happen, so all we can do is wait. This is something that any intellectually honest and perceptive person would tell you. This includes the blockchain supporter, respectable cryptocurrencies, and TSMC, to name a few. Even though nobody can say for sure, I appreciate that they are forthright about their prejudices and future forecasts. Because of this, whenever I see this, I can't help but believe they're both honest and smart. As a result, we shall observe the result. When we work together, we can find out. That is how I see it. Thankfully, I do not excel at reading charts. I am not an expert in that field. Please do not let anything I say sway your decision to buy anything. And, as always, we ask that you like and subscribe. Until then, farewell.